What's up, guys? Tian van den Berg here, and as you can see, I am back with another video. Yeah, I don't really make a lot of videos on this YouTube channel, mainly because I really don't see it. Like, I'm not really much of the YouTube guy. Like, I don't really make as much videos as other people on here. So, but I thought for this case I'd make an exception. And what case is that, you ask? Well, today I will be reviewing the 2019 remake of The Lion King. Now, the reason I picked this specific movie to come back to YouTube to review it for is because I really loved The Lion King as a kid. I watched it like 1,000 times. It was one of my favorite Disney movies, and I really loved it a lot. I like I said, I watched it 1,000 times, and I could recite. I still remember all the words to this day. That's how many times I've watched it. So I went to go watch The Lion King on Friday night, last Friday night, and I'm only giving the review to you guys now because I'm a busy guy. I have stuff to do, and yeah, so just be grateful that you guys are getting a review, period. Anyway, so first of all, let's start with the positives of this movie. Number one, the visual effects I thought were amazing. I thought that Jon Favreau did a really good job bringing some photorealism into his 3D renders. I thought that the environments, the animals, were just so well done. And I really, if this movie does not get nominated for an Oscar for best visual effects, or at least win an Oscar, that could even be a plus for me. If this movie does not win an Oscar for best visual effects, I will be shocked, because the visual effects for this movie was absolutely amazing. 10 out of 10 for sure. Now let's talk about the positives. And just a quick thing, I will be touching spoilers on this movie, so if you have not seen the movie, I recommend watch it first before coming back to this video. The reason I say spoiler warning, because I know some of you smart asses are going to say, oh no, but this is a remake of the 1994 Lion King. Yeah, it is, and it is basically the same story, but there are certain things that are different. So it still counts as a spoiler. So if you have not seen the movie, like I said, go watch it, then come back to this review. Okay, so first of all, the second thing I liked were some of the changes that they did. Like, for example, the hyenas. They are changed a lot in this movie. Not really that much, but they're not really idiots in this movie. Especially Shenzi. Shenzi is the leader of the hyenas, just like she was in the original, but she's a lot more cold and calculating in this movie, and I really like that change. It was a welcome change for this particular adoption of the Lion King. So that's also what I liked about it. The second change that I liked was the whole the animals living with Timon and Pumbaa inside the jungle. To me, was also a change that I wasn't really happy about it, but I was, it was a welcome change to have in this movie. Also, another change that I really liked was Nala leaving the Pride Lands to basically go find help for the whole situation that they've gotten into with Scar. So that was really a good thing, and it really kind of bridged the gap between how Nala got into the jungle in the first place when she goes to when she meets Simba again. That was not in the original, and I think that could have been awesome in the original if they had that scene. It was in the Broadway production, but it wasn't in the original. Lion King movie. So I think that was an added thing that I kind of liked about the movie, and that they added. Another thing that I liked about this movie uh, is well, it's kind of a bittersweet kind of thing, because in the end, when Sunda tells Tunda he has to create a diversion, instead of the hula hooting scene with Tinon, it's changed that to something I think was really better for this remake. It could have been nice to have the original scene, but I think what they added was worked a lot better in this case. Instead, it's now Tinon basically ripping off Lumiere from Beauty and the Beast, and I think that was a great Easter egg for the wider Disney universe. So I also kind of like that also. Um, Now, another change that I did like. Let's see. Oh yeah. Scar. In the original, Scar. Um, I don't really remember, but they added this thing in this movie where Scar basically tries to make Saradi his wife, because originally Scar and Mufasa had a fight, and over Saradi when they were younger, and then Saradi chose Mufasa. So it comes out that Scar still has this kind of a crush on Saradi, uh, and I thought that that really gave more depth to Scar's character, and I also like that a lot. Um, so yeah, that was also a welcome change. Now let's talk about the cast. First of all, Donald Glover as Simba was okay. I thought he did a decent job as Simba. Beyonce as Nala. I know many people did not like this casting choice, but to me, I really did not really have a problem with it. What I really did not think fit very well, though, was the Spirit song. When I first went into the movie, I thought that Spirit was going to be replacing Shadowland in the whole when she leaves the Triland scene, but it's actually when Simba and Nala are going back to the Trilands right before Simba has that fight with Scar. Um, I I guess it kind of fit there, but I don't know. I wasn't digging the song in the movie, and I thought it could have been better if it maybe replaced Shadowland, but that's just me. I just wasn't a whole. It just didn't click very well in the scene that it was added in, and that's just my opinion. Um, Okay, so now Billy Eichner and Seth Rogen as Timon and Pumbaa. They stole the show. Many other reviews said it, and it's 100% true. They did steal the show. They really brought out the charm and the funniness that made Timon and Pumbaa funny in the original, but adding some more stuff to make them even more funny in this one, which I also liked. I really liked the fact that they did not change Timon and Pumbaa at all. Now, there was this slight thing. It turns out it's very heavily hinted that Timon and Pumbaa are gay in this version, but I didn't really find a problem with that. I thought that that was kind of the thing in the original as well. I kind of thought that in the original, so this just kind of emphasized those theories a little bit. So I didn't really have a problem with that. I was a huge fan of how they portrayed the characters. They really stole the show. They had some funny moments, um, as well as some moments that were in the original, but they added some stuff. So I really like that. Um, Also, John Oliver as Zazu. I thought John Oliver did a decent job at keeping Zazu as comedic and as as charming as he was and funny as he was in the original. James, J- what's his name? John Oliver did a really decent job at replicating Rowan Atkinson's version of the character, which I thought was very good as well. Now let's see. Chidwa Ejiofor as Scar. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. I'm sorry if I'm not. I'm human. I butcher names, Tito. It happens, especially a name like this. To me, I really liked how Chidwa Ejiofor's version of Scar actually was. Because if you see the movie, you'd know that this version of Scar is very different to the original version. He's a lot darker in this version. He's a lot more cold, a lot more creepy, and a lot more menacing. Um, some people called him almost Shakespearean-like, which I kind of agree with. He didn't have that wit, wittyfulness and that theatricalness that he had in the original. He's a lot more um, um uh, cold, a lot more menacing, and a lot more creepy than what he was in the original. And I kind of like that change, although I don't know why they did not cast Jeremy Irons again as Scar. I thought I would think that because they recast James Earl Jones with Mufasa again, that they would just, you know, cast Jeremy Irons as Scar again. But nonetheless, Chadwa Ejiofor was a great Scar. I liked the version that he portrayed the version of the character perfectly, and I think it suited the character well. Alfred Woodard as Saraldi, again, another good casting choice. I had no problems with her whatsoever. Um, the the actors who plays Azizi and Kamari, I really don't know their names, but I think they also did a very decent job with those characters as well. The woman that played Shenzi also really did a good job in the character, in this version of the character that she was playing as well. Now, let's start this off. This is kind of my first negative about the movie. John Carney as Rafiki. I'm so sorry. They did John Carney so wrong. Him being a fellow South African actor, I really was not a fan for the lack of dialogue that he had in this movie. I really was not a fan. So yeah, that's my first negative about this movie. And now since I'm done with the cast, now for my second negative. In some scenes, it looked like the music was not on par with the action. It was kind of like the music and the actions were kind of delayed a bit. Like the most intense part of the song would come on, and then a few moments later, that intense part would only come in the action sequences. So I was kind of disappointed with that. Another thing was, in some parts, it really looked like the voices weren't in sync with the lips. Um, it kind of looked like one of those National Geographic movies where an actor is mouthing the words of the lions and the animals, but it's not in sync to what the character rig is saying. So that's really something that kind of put me off as well. Not to mention, in some scenes, the acting was really dialed down. Like the stampede scene when Mufasa dies. James Earl Jones delivers the lines with so much non-passion than he did in the original, and it was extremely disappointing. Um, he says, "Scar, help me." He did not say it with any emotion whatsoever. He almost said it extremely robotically, and I think that really took away from the emotion of that scene. So that was really disappointing. I think the acting could have been a little bit better. Another down for me was the "I Can't Wait to Be King" sequence. I thought that what they did there, John Favreau could have made that scene a little bit more spectacular than what it was, like what in the original. So that was also really disappointing. And I think that's really all for disappointing. I think instead of Spirit, they could have had Beyonce singing Shadowland. I think that could have been a whole lot better. Um, Not that I hated Spirit, I just thought that if they added Shadowland, it could have had a little bit more impact, especially if they added it in the whole Pride Rock scene. Um, I think that's as far as negatives go, and for my review in general. All in all, I really enjoyed this movie. Do not believe the critics because they're full of shit. This movie isn't as bad as the critics say. It was highly enjoyable, and I will definitely watch it again. And I will, for anyone who hasn't seen it, and I'm pretty sure because of this review you have seen it by now, but I would recommend anyone to watch this movie. Um, Whether you're a fan of the original or not, I'd recommend you to watch the remake. It is very, very well done. And that's for my review. I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 raws. And that's all for my review. Check you on the other side. Peace out.